Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. I'm not going to look at you a lot because I'm driving. In the last week, I've had three, I think, in-depth conversations with people who are getting serious about designating Shofar Mountain a bug-out site, right? And one of the requirements we have is that those desiring to enter into that agreement store a year's supply of food at Shofar Mountain. Now that's their food, and they can come get it anytime they want and take it back. But if you want to bug out there, you have to have on hand a year's supply of food. I'm going somewhere with this. This last weekend, I went to a congregation for a weekend-long preparedness thing, if you will. And I was given a class on bug-out bags and bug-out bag theory, but there were many other classes given. And as you know, watching this channel, we had the 12th annual bug-out bag exercise recently. And you can only carry so much. And right now I'm driving down this beautiful superhighway with not very much traffic on it. See? And no worries. But in a bug out situation, stuff happens. It can, right? The roads could be clogged with people, or your car could break down, or whatever, and you just can't carry that much stuff in a bug out bag. You want to have, purpose of this video, you want to have supplies pre-positioned at your bug out location. And if you have multiple potential bug out locations, which I suggest you do, then you should have multiple sets of supplies. I know, you've got $1 million to do that, right? Well, I'm not saying that you have to have everything the same at every site. But you should have stuff there, because you may end up dragging in, half-dressed, hungry, cold, and wounded. And are you expecting the people who you show up at their place, assuming you're going to a populated bug-out place, an occupied bug-out location, are you expecting them to then just care for you forever? They probably don't have millions of dollars either. And so I've done many videos. I've done videos on how you can basically put together a year's supply of food for $400. So you can put together 6 months supply of food for $200, right? At this event that I was at, where I was teaching a class, somebody offered for sale 25-year food buckets that were purchased, in 2003 or something, of somebody who left the country, left their buckets here, and then decided they're not coming back and it's too expensive to ship the buckets, so will somebody please buy my buckets? And the amount of money they wanted for these things was outrageous. Outrageous! Now, I didn't rain on that parade while I was sitting there. It's kind of like standing at a gun show table and telling a potential customer, oh, you can get it cheaper over there. You just don't do that, right? But, yeah, you can spend a lot of money on a food storage plan. You can also get it done for not very much money. $200 is not that much money for 6 months worth of food. And so I encourage you to fill the larder wherever you plan on bugging out to, and not just food. You may want to have that spare rifle and ammo there, assuming you have one. You may want to have, bedding material and things like that there. But you want to put it there now, which then means you've got to have an idea of where you're going now. Which means you got to work on that. Because just running into this and thinking you'll go live up there in that hill in the woods, that's not a plan, people. You need a plan. Another thing, as long as I'm on it, plan A should never be to bug out. If your plan A is that you're going to bug out when something happens, then you need to move now. You need to go now and go set yourself up there now. because bugging out is a contingency thing. It's like an alternate plan in the PACE concept. You want to live in a place that you can weather the storm that you think is coming. And so to that end, you need a food supply there first, right? But maybe you're not taking my advice and your plan A is still to bug out. Well, then you need to put food at your bug out location. Get it there. And why do I say food? Because food's heavy. And if you've got a whole truckload of food behind you, and it's also bulky. The cheapest way I've found to do food is 5-gallon buckets of about 300 pounds each 100 pounds each of wheat, rice, corn, and beans, which is 12 buckets per person, 12 5-gallon buckets. So a family of 4, do the math, right? It's almost 50 buckets. That's a lot of space. That's a lot of weight. And God forbid, your truck breaks down en route to your bug out location. You're not carrying that. You're going to feed somebody who drives by with empty space in their vehicle. So, start thinking about pre-positioning supplies. Start doing that. Think about it, plan it, but then do it. I want you guys taken care of when you end up wherever it is you're going to go. All right. I'll see you out there.